now, a man with big brow energy, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on the chat. Get it on. Excited. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. We love that about you getting the word out. Mayhem Miller over here. Lots of stuff to get into today. Woke up to a very nice text this morning.
Yeah.
Nice text.
That's good.
Yeah.
About the Gavina show?
No.
The blast.
No, about a stand-up bit called Rich Man, Poor Man that I started doing. I did it for Dry Bar, and it got around a little bit. And it's so funny, the text was from Jay Leno, who I like Jay a lot, but he keeps it close to the vest with the compliments. He doesn't do a lot of, oh man, that was so funny, I saw blah, 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 blah. He doesn't do that. He's a great guy, cordial, good friend, but he's not that guy.
I get it.
Though I wake up this morning, he goes, saw the Rich Man, Poor Man bit. That is a great bit and a great premise. Man, you knocked out of the ballpark, which he never does. But now I realize the two guys that came up to me and said, that's your bit, were Jerry Seinfeld and now Jay Leno. They both went, that's a bit.
Yeah.
And I've never done it. I mean, I always forget to do it. I never do it. There's something wrong with me, but it's a bit. And the only two people who've ever said anything about it is Jay Leno and Jerry Seinfeld, because I realized they're comedians and they think in terms of bits and branded bits, and they're like, that's your bit.
So you're saying you're putting in rotation permanently.
I'm doing it now. Now I'm going to do it. I was, when Seinfeld did it, I didn't do it.
I got one.
But now that
fish
Leno,
to eat.
Fish to eat. That's your bit?
Fish to eat is Rich Man and Poor Man. Like you only eat fish if you're like on the pier, or you're on the back of a 30-foot yacht getting a marlin.
Fishing.
It might not be funny, but it's true.
Fishing for sustenance.
There we go.
To eat.
Exactly right. A fish to eat. Nah.
It's not. The thing about it. The thing about it is the thing about Rich Man, Poor Man is it has to be true, but it also has to be funny in some way.
It's not funny. Yeah.
And I have a ton of them that are just true, but they're not funny. There's something funny.
All right.
And then there's ones I like that no one else likes.
Yeah.
Like
I hear you.
Speaks to Bono. I just feel that's a rich and a poor thing. No one else laughs. No one else cares.
I'm dark.
Right. So, but anyway, I have to keep generating those. But it was a nice way to wake up. A little Rich Man, Poor Man compliment from the great Jay Leno. Speaking of Seinfeld, I don't know if something's afoot. I don't know if there's foul play. I don't know what's going on. But that guy had a Porsche 917. It's the Steve McQueen Porsche 917 from the movie Le Mans. And that's an iconic race car that Seinfeld bought probably about 20 years ago for probably $2 million or something. I saw it all taken apart in a shop in Van Nuys. A guy named Joey, who I know, who does all Seinfeld's cars. That car went to auction last weekend. Kissimmee in Florida. He says it's Kissimmee.
Kissimmee, yeah.
No one knows how to pronounce it here.
I don't know.
I thought it was Kissimmee.
Kissimmee?
Yeah. I thought it was Kissimmee. I thought it was Kissimmee.
I thought it was Kissimmee.
Kissimmee. All right. No one knows how to pronounce this place.
Kissimmee.
Maybe we should just change the name of it because no one knows how it is. But they have a big auction, and they brought the Seinfeld 917.
You put it up.
They put it up across the blocks.
Oh wow.
Got to $25 million. Now, $25 million means with the VIG, with the 10% buyer's premium, that the dude who's cutting that check is doing 25 plus 10, which is 27.5. right? Okay. Yeah. No sale.
No.
Wouldn't accept it. So I don't know what's going on. No one thought that car was worth more than that.
I didn't even hear the number. You said 2.75. $25 million for a Porsche.
For a Porsche.
Oh, my God. The only auctions I've been to is police auctions. You buy a shot-up car, with blood stains all in it, and you take apart one of those cars and put together another car.
So it's basically...
Wow.
Yeah,
that's not what I was expecting.
You bought the Blues Brothers mobile.
Right? Exactly,
Cap suspension, cap brakes, cap transmission. It's got a 440. That's the car. Super iconic because Steve McQueen drove it in the movie, and Steve McQueen's production company bought it.
Was this at the Reno Auto Museum?
No.
Yeah, I've seen this car at a museum before.
Well,
I feel like I have, or one similar. It's a very beautiful piece of art.
I love the 917. It's a killer car. It won Le Mans. This car did not win Le Mans. It was just in the movie.
Oh,
Le Mans.
I get it.
The iconic Steve McQueen movie. Now, I got to get to my sources because I don't know that he turned down $25 million or that the auction house bid it up to a number to see how that worked. There's a little bit, there can be a little tomfoolery every once in a while.
But as far as these auctions go, everyone who gets in the auction understands the rules. Correct. So he has to know there's the 10% VIG on top of what he buys it going in. Did they make that clear?
No, I'm not talking about the VIG. Or what?
No.
The VIG is, it's baked in. Everyone who bids knows they're bidding with the VIG.
But the guy wouldn't pay it.
No, I'm not. I think you're misunderstanding.
I am misunderstanding.
It was a no sale. Nobody, they didn't accept $25 million.
I thought somebody did bid $25 million.
They did bid $25 million. They didn't accept it. Wasn't enough.
Oh, shit.
That's what I'm saying, Dawson.
Thank you.
Reserve was not met. So that means Seinfeld thinks it's worth $30 million.
Yeah.
And it stopped at 25, and Seinfeld said, take it home. We're taking it home. But I don't know. There are auctions in cars where when you talk to the guys in the know, they go, I don't know about that. That was something was off.
As a racer, does it make you feel weird that he has stopped dead on a nice turn right here? I mean, it makes me a little nervous. My butthole pucker up looking at that picture.
They're just rolled it out on a track.
You might have said this, but which one would be worth more, the one that won Le Mans or the one owned by James Dean?
The Porsche?
Yeah.
Well, the 550 Spider that James Dean died in is not, and has never been found.
Right.
So it's got stolen. Now, it was a wreck. And it was a wreck, and it was kind of parted out. Like they took the transmission for you lay people and the rear end and the engine out, and then the just shell of the thing just kind of went on tour. And in Florida.
And they snatched it?
In Florida.
One of my cousins got it.
Yeah, one of your cousins got it. Nothing makes it out of Florida. They think it's Florida's where they found out it was missing. Somebody stole James Dean's crushed car, the car he died in, and it's in some bunker in Dubai.
It was on a flatbed or something. They were just carting it around with this blood stains and brain matter on it.
Yeah.
That's morose.
They were carting it around to show back when it was okay to scare kids.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
We don't scare kids anymore. We tell them
driving.
all they're number one. We used to have Scared Straight. We take these kids to prison, and some 8-foot black guy would pull his fake eyeball out and throw it at him and go, "Give me your goddamn shoes!" And the kids go, I'm never coming into this place. And then we'd bring him James Dean's car, and we go, "This guy died. He's dead. He's dead. You understand? He didn't wear a seatbelt. He wasn't paying attention." We would scare the shit out of kids. That was every guy I know of a certain age had that thing where some car that was completely balled up got flatbedded into the fucking quad, and some guy wearing a sheriff's outfit when this guy's dead. His whole family's in that car, and they're all gone. You want to end up like that? You keep driving the way you do. Wear a goddamn seatbelt. Now go back to class. We scared kids, and it was good because you would go, well, I don't want to go to prison. I don't want to die in a car wreck.
Yeah.
And you would, most of us would then act accordingly.
Yes.
Now we just tell everyone they're the fucking number one.
Here's your trophy.
Here's your trophy. Doesn't prevent them from doing anything.
No.
We used to fucking scare people.
Yeah, I like this strategy. Yeah.
My high school, we had an assembly.
Yeah.
LeBeau from Hogan's Heroes, the French guy from Hogan's Heroes, showed up and yelled at us about the Holocaust. Now they just have fucking cool bands. LeBeau showed up from Hogan's Heroes. I thought we were going to get some funny Bob Crane stories. No, we did not. We got yelled at.
He could have sprinkled
or like
in.
what a cool dude Colonel Klink was, like off the set, or like whatever. No, nothing. A Schultzy stories. I know nothing. Got nothing. I got fucking Holocaust stories. I got traumatized by Holocaust stories from LeBeau.
He directly gave firsthand account of the Holocaust.
I went and researched it, many years later to figure out why LeBeau came to North Hollywood High in 1981 and yelled at us about the Holocaust. And I think I figured out that LeBeau was
a partisan,
a Frenchman who was in the who was involved with the Holocaust. I mean, it would have been. It would have been about right because Hogan's Heroes was, shot in 1968, and that would have been 20 years, 22, 23 years after he was liberated, and LeBeau could have been 45 when he was doing Hogan's Heroes, which would have made him 19 if as a young Jew in France.
He held down the Maginot Line, and that's what he was yelling at you about?
Maginot Line.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, the Maginot Line was. Let me just explain how life works to everybody, and then we'll explain the Maginot Line, and then also LeBeau. Find out, Dawson, what the hell with LeBeau, and why was he yelling at me about Auschwitz?
Yeah, what the hell?
And then we walked out of that fucking assembly just to see some car that had been rolled, family that died in it.
Your life is a San Fernando Mad Lib.
Do you understand that the only 2 field trips I ever went on was to the Laurie's taco seasoning plant in Eagle Rock. And I left with a small cellophane container of seasoning mix for tacos. My fucking hippie mom didn't cook ground beef. I had nothing to do. I had to snort the shit. There's nothing to do. My mom didn't have meat. My mom wouldn't eat meat, so there was nothing to season. But I got taco seasoning. And then the other trip would be Alvera Street, which is just a fucking alley filled with fake Mexican restaurants and, marionettes and, sombreros. Fuck, half the guys that go to North Hollywood High with are Mexican. What the fuck do I need Alvera Street?
They want to show you
Taco
the
Bell on the corner.
They want to show you what this was 1,500 years ago.
LeBeau
was played by an actor named Robert Clary, who was a Holocaust survivor.
That's why he yelled at me.
That's why.
Was he as a teenager, in the Holocaust?
Yeah, I think 14. Hold on. Age 12. He was, wait, and 42 because he was Jewish.
He was Jewish or Romani?
No, he was Jewish.
All right.
He has an identification tattoo on his forearm.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's why he yelled at you. He'd been there. Went to the camp.
I can't see.
He was a young man.
He was a young
12
man,
maybe.
Yes.
Well, how old was he when
he began a career singing in radio, in singing and in French radio when he was 12. I don't see when.
What year was he born? I think we can do the Holocaust.
26.
I can do the Holocaust.
26, and then in 42 he was interned.
Ooh.
Okay, so he was 16.
Okay,
right? Or 16. Now, those are formative Holocaust years. You know what I mean? Like when you're 16, you're trying to get your driver's license and get laid.
But if there's going to be a Holocaust, you wanted to go early so you have the strength to get through it.
Yeah. You don't want old Holocaust. You want young Holocaust. Yeah. 16. Jesus Christ.
That's a rough life.
Still pissed by the time he got to North Hollywood. 1981.
But a damn decent character actor.
Yeah. Sung. All right. The Maginot Line. The French had a lot of bad actors around them. Germany, one of them. And they're like, you know what? We need to fortify our country by building a Maginot Line. It's a cacophony of underground tunnels and bunkers and rail systems. They're able to move munitions from one end to the other end, all without detection, all, cannons and barricades and bunkers and railroads and barracks. And they built basically like an entire underground perimeter to protect themselves from the Huns at the door and Germans and God knows who wanted to come in there and fuck them up. So they built this entire system, and it was all like underground with railway tracks.
Mostly they had like castles basically and like gun emplacements.
Yeah, sorry. It wasn't all underground. They had gun emplacements and barracks and mess halls and bathrooms and everything you would need to move munitions and do everything they did. And then World War II started, and the Germans just flew right over the top of them and bombed the shit out of Paris. And they could do nothing.
The technology really jumped up in those intervening years between the time that they built that thing. Because back then it was like a horseback and whatever. Now you got tanks coming over at 45 miles an hour.
The Germans did the Blitzkrieg. Lightning War.
Yes.
You and I should sit around and watch a little History Channel together.
All right, I'm into it.
They did their Lightning War, and the Maginot Line was no defense for the planes and the tanks and everything that just went blazing right past them.
Good strategy. That feed the soldiers meth and just get them to drive.
Get them going.
As fast as possible.
Yeah, so there's that. Seinfeld's Porsche. A lot of German talk.
9?
Don't know what was going on, but stalled out at $25 million and was a no sale. So not enough. Now, it seems inconceivable to me that Seinfeld bought the car for like $2 million and turned down $25 million. But I don't know.
When you got that kind of, fuck me money, right?
Maybe he also didn't really want to sell it. Maybe he doesn't need the money. And he's like, okay, if you guys can sell it for 30, I'll talk.
Yeah. It could have had a reserve. I don't know, but I'll follow up on it. I'll try to get to the bottom of it. The other thing that I wanted to get into was somebody sent me a tweet, and I'll show you the tweet. It says it's a bat yawning. It's a bat that's yawning.
All right.
I think it moves, doesn't it?
Wait, this looks right side up.
Waking up in the morning. And then I started thinking about it. Does everything yawn? Why does everything yawn? You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel... I kind of get this part where it's like, well, you yawn and a monkey yawns. And you yawn, your dog yawns. Everything yawns. Well, what do they need yawn? What's a bat need to yawn for?
I think it's some type of oxygen,
it is. It is a thing, but it's a little bit weird that it's woven into all the DNA.
Is it only? Yeah, it's not mammals, just mammals, huh? It's
a yawn is a reflex in vertebrate animals. So yeah, everybody does it. It's a reflex, probably to some of the feelings your body has when you wake up, like your body needs to
it's also
adjust.
It's also something that happens when you're nervous. There's a nervous yawn.
I would always, before fights, yawn.
I know.
I would. You get there's some type of
yes. There's a nervous
oxygen,
yawn.
Anxiety.
There's an anxiety yawn.
Yeah.
I remember clear as a day. After LeBeau was done yelling at us about the Holocaust, we had a football game that night, and we'd be in the locker, in the chalk talk room or whatever the room next to the lockers were, And Coach Fred Nielsen, old time good guy, big forearm guy, giving a speech. And I would always be standing in the back of the room, and I had the yawn. I had the pre-game yawn.
Yeah.
You're talking about the locker room yawn, like I'm going out to do battle yawn.
Yeah.
Something about it. And I remember clear as day, Fred Nielsen, he's giving us the Eskimo speech about, he's giving us a fighting Eskimo speech.
What? Okay. Oh, that was your mascot? That was weird.
No, it was weird. We were Huskies.
Yeah.
So maybe they're pulling Eskimo around.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, he wasn't tied into the Huskies. He was trying to give us an inspirational speech.
Sorry.
But he's in the middle of this speech, and I'm standing in the back, yawning. And in
Does this bore you, Carolla?
That's right. In the middle of the speech, he stops and goes, "Am I boring you, Carolla?" And I'm like, "No, I'm playing both ways. I'm long snapping. I got things. I'm thinking about stuff. I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm yawning. I'm doing the locker room yawn."
I'm seeing here that scientists have several theories for why we yawn, but none of them are certain. Common triggers of yawning include tiredness, boredom, waking up, and stress.
Are you joking about being a long snapper? Because I coach the #1 long snapper in college football.
What?
I do, yeah.
Have we
We never talked
gone
about
this long?
This long.
I weave long snapping into conversations with strangers.
I noticed.
Someone asked me for directions. I tell them about
I
long
never wanted to come out with this, but yeah, I coach him in jiu-jitsu. He's a really good jiu-jitsu player as well.
Really?
Yeah, I know. We got to talk sometime.
If I had half a fucking brain, I would have just been a long snapper. Yeah. Do you have? You can find me long snapping on TV. I mean, this is the greatest long snapping moment of my life. This. I think there's some sound here.
Professional opinion. All right, now you right-handed, Coach? Yeah. Because what I'll do.
This is shotgun.
Your right hand, I'll put it up here.
Okay, already ready to throw.
I'll put it right here. Which way you like the laces lined up?
I would like the laces towards my pointer.
Towards your pointer?
Yeah.
All right,
You
so
put it
bring the
towards
laces
pointer,
about
yeah,
here.
to the right-hand
Upper
side.
right. All right.
About 3 o'clock. Set, go. Wow, that's pretty good. That was nice. That's not bad at all. I really didn't believe you could put it right here, but you did.
The guy offered me a job
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a bull
on an
call
arena
right there,
team
but you got
snapping.
it.
You missed your calling, I think.
I used to snap the ball in high school. Well, my dad was a long snapper and his father before him. And then my great-grandfather Giovanni from the old country used to do the long snapping.
All right, see the foot now. Set, go. I'll tell you what, we may be able to go shotgun this year.
Yeah.
That's pretty good right there. That's impressive.
So now that's your biggest regret.
Well, that's shotgun, but I did punts and extra points and field goals and all that shit as well. But yeah, I was a long snapper. I don't know, I have no idea how you get in. Being a long snapper is like killing prostitutes. It's like, where did this begin? You know what I mean? You're getting stressed or you're bored?
Yes.
I was like, I don't know why I was a long snapper, but I was a long snapper. But the problem with long snapping, when you do it as a specialty,
I know.
it's fine.
Yeah.
I played both ways and long snap, so I never left. I never left the field.
Yeah.
I didn't leave for punts. I didn't leave for
Just all night Carolla. Just
by the end of
offense,
the
defense, special teams. Just
and
running.
I had like the big linebacker shoulder pads and the toilet seat and everything.
Yeah.
And I'd get down between my legs in a game. I could barely see the punter behind me because the toilet seat, like the big shoulder
of
pads
course.
and stuff and the helmet
the
and everything.
70s pads.
And by the end of the game, man, I was pretty gassed out,
Yeah.
sweat all over me,
just
dripping
wore a
on my eyes and
mascot
stuff.
uniform. Yeah. all
And
night.
we'd play night games, and our field wasn't that well lit. And I just remember looking through my legs at Pat Morrison, our punter, like 15 yards back, and I'm like feeling like sweat on the ball and stuff going, I don't know. And they didn't have the no can rule back then.
What do you mean, no can?
No can. When you are standing with your feet super wide.
Yeah.
And your head's between your legs.
I know, yeah.
You're vulnerable.
Yes, you are.
You're going to get fucked up. And they have a rule in the NFL now, and in college, and in high school, but not the Arena League didn't have it. I don't know, 20 years ago. But they take the biggest dude on the other team and they put him heads up right on you. And then you fucking stand there and you see this huge dude standing there. And then you go, now I'm putting my head between my legs. And you put your head between your legs. And this guy drives you. His job is to can you, to drive you into the ground.
Yeah.
Now, what is he trying to do? Well, the first punt, he's going to fuck you up. The second punt, if you ever try to snap a long snap and get up and defend yourself real fast, that ball's skipping back to the punt. You will fuck that snap up. If your number one job is to protect yourself and not hit the punter in the chest, you're going to fuck that snap up.
Yeah.
And the guy who cans you knows it.
Yeah.
And the other team knows it.
Yeah.
So they can you on the first one and then try to get you to protect yourself.
Yeah.
On the second one.
Yeah.
And it never worked with me. I never fucked up a snap. Our team sucked.
What was your strat? I figure you go kind of shoot a single leg, you know what I mean, and climb it up. I don't know. That would be my strategy, but I don't know how they do it in the NFL. Really, I don't notice it. And my guy, I never see him work.
They drive the guy the biggest. They take the biggest dude on the other team. He stands right over you where your head's in your legs, and he drives you into the ground. And he just drives you in back first.
Yeah,
you don't get head first. He goes back. He's got the back of your head.
I know. Yeah,
in the ground. I never fucked up a snap. Never.
Great.
Never. Not one. Not extra points, field goals, punts.
Can or no can.
We punted a lot. That's the only thing we did, really, is punt, and I never fucked up a punt.
Oh, yeah.
I never fucked up a snap, but I got canned. But I didn't give a shit. I was like, my duty is to not fuck this snap up.
Because all the yawning.
They did not. They now have a rule. I'm looking at Joe. I'm sure there's no more canning. There's no canning in the NFL. There's no canning.
When you say canning, are you saying you body flop or double, head and arm the guy to the ground? What are you saying? Can.
I don't know. It was always called the no can rule.
Yeah,
and then it was always called getting canned.
Like tomato
you land
can?
on your can. You land on your ass.
Oh.
They drill you in the ground and you go onto your ass.
So you're folded over.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
that's a nightmare.
I'm sure there's been many a neck injury caused by getting
I would
canned.
want one of those neck pads. Remember in the 80s they had the real tall neck thing and I would just neck roll. I would just shoot a double leg or shoot a single leg. So as soon as I snap, then I'm safe. He falls on top of me, but no big deal.
You can't. You got your head between your legs.
No, I know, but as soon as I throw it, just shoot it.
That guy's staring at the ball. As soon as that ball moves, as soon as that ball moves, he's coming.
Yeah.
So there is no shooting double legs on him. They're trying to survive.
Yeah, okay.
In the NFL now, anybody within 1 yard of the line has to be outside of the long snapper's shoulder pads.
Oh, so he has to run.
No one can line up over the snapper anymore.
Oh, wow. New game.
So this dude offers me the job snapping for his arena football team.
Yeah, okay.
And I just go, I would do that, but do you have the no can rule? And he said, not in Arena League. And I said, well, no can do. But I would have done it. I was old. You know what I mean? But,
you're already doing TV and whatnot, so you're
I was a celebrity. Yeah,
exactly.
So I didn't need that, but I still would have done it just to say I
for
did
funsies.
it. Yeah, just for fun.
Yeah,
I got lucky. I mean, I was fucking around with the guy. I told him to put the ball by his right. I was like, what hand are you right? Where do you want the laces there? But I did put the laces there, and I did put the ball there. Yep. And so that's why he reacted the way he reacted.
You still had it.
Yeah, the shotgun was pretty easy because shotgun you keep your head up. You don't look on shotgun.
Yeah,
you do on punts and you do on extra points, but you don't on shotgun. So shotgun you keep your head up and you don't get canned.
Don't get canned.
So you had the number one long snapper.
Yeah, I coach him. Yeah, he's a real good kid. Yeah,
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
How old is he?
22.
Is he in the NFL?
I guess he's transferring to a bigger school, and he's got, I guess they get offers now. I don't know.
Long snapper's a thing. And you can
yeah.
hang around in the NFL for 15 years and get paid if that's your thing.
Handsome guy. You look good on camera.
The long snapper.
It's a lost art.
From San Diego dated Pam Anderson for a period of time.
Sick. This kid's headed to the top.
I'm not making that up, I don't think. Yeah. I always said, look, someone's got to make the movie. Someone's got to make the movie where the mob gets to the long snapper. Right. 1 week before the Super Bowl, they kidnapped the long snapper's daughter. And now they need David Benn, and now they need him to fuck up a couple of long snaps in the Super Bowl.
Just cover the spread. You know what I'm saying?
What is one punt snap over the punter's head that just skates back toward the opposing end zone, right? And one bad field goal snap.
Yeah.
That is good for 10 points. I mean, that's a big outcome. You can't prove it. There's no one who's going to replace that guy. They don't have a second long snapper. By the way, he snaps it over the punter's head. They're not going to pull him for the next snap. You guarantee me 2 bad snaps. One bad. The punt, I need you to drill it, and I need you to go over the guy's head, and I need that ball to skate back to the 5-yard line or whatever. Like one bad punt, one bad field goal. And I'm betting on that other team.
So you missed your calling. Corrupt long snapper.
I could have made billions. Well, in the movie, there's a movie version where his daughter's kidnapped and everything.
And the whole week of the Super Bowl, his daughter's kidnapped. And the week he should be preparing for the big game, he's actually hunting down the kidnappers. Snap.
Snap, it's called.
Yeah.
And at some point, the kidnapper, Kid snapped. At some point, the guy's got a knife and the daughter's whatever. And it's a standoff. And this guy bends down, picks up a rock and goes between his legs, goes shotgun with a rock right to the head. Splat, right in the head. The guy drops the knife.
Yeah, there's a line. I'm pretty good with a shotgun.
Yeah, that's... I could watch that. I would watch that movie.
Yeah, me too. Netflix original.
Mm-hmm. All right. So there's that. I don't know what we're talking about.
I'm also pretty good in the pistol.
Oh, yeah, the pistol. The shotgun and the pistol. There's a difference.
I'm not giving you a nickel or a dime.
Oh, like dime package, nickel.
Okay. I don't know. It was maybe too deep.
All right. I had a thought. I was listening to Trump being sworn in the other day, and I was watching him do it. Supreme Court Judge Roberts, I think, fucked it up. He didn't wait for his family to show up. He started right into it, and you could see Trump's family, who was supposed to be gathered, had to kind of hustle into the frame. But I was listening to it on the radio, and I was thinking to myself, if Joe Biden had stayed in the race, and if Joe Biden had won, like he says he could have, do you think Joe Biden could have got through the swear-in without muffing it? Without a stumble? Let's put it to you this way. If you were doing VO work, could he have got through it without the engineer going, yeah, let's try another one. Let's give it another take. Let's just listen and kind of close your eyes and listen and then picture Biden. I don't know that he could have got through it, but here we go.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
I don't think Biden could have got through it clean.
Preserve, protect, and defend will be very fucked up.
That very fucked up. That's where the smart money is.
Protect and hey, man.
But then, true story. But then he realized we were on the brink of swearing in a guy who couldn't get through the swear-in ceremony to run the country.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the plan was.
I thought you were supposed to put a hand on the Bible. This guy was just standing there with it.
I think this guy Roberts fucked it up 2 times.
Right?
He fucked it up another time too. He brought the wrong Bible or something.
Yeah.
You see the family try to hustle up?
Yeah, that was
he
weird
just rolled
too.
right into it.
The whole thing was strange. Yeah, and Trump was ready. He was just like, kablamo, let's do this, get this out of the way. Got a 5:15 tea time.
Can I say this too? They give the guy who's swearing you in a cheat sheet. He's looking down at a cheat sheet. Why does the guy who's being sworn in get his own cheat sheet?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Teleprompt him?
Yeah. All right. Take a quick break. Be right back. Are we doing some AI, Adam? How's that going to work, Joe? We're going to ask AI questions.
Yeah.
And
on the break, we're going to get a prompt from you in the hopes that it'll read it in your voice.
Okay. We'll do that right after this. Well, you want to start a business, your own business, a small business, and grow it this year. Let's do this. And now's the best time to start. Shopify is going to help you. I started a business, and I use Shopify, and I'm glad I did. Shopify makes it simple to create your brand, open for business, and get your first sale. Get your store up and running. It's easy, and they've got thousands of customizable templates that can help you with all the details like shipping, taxes, payments, from one single dashboard, allowing you to focus on the important stuff like growing your business, because you want to be freed up to grow your business, not burdened with the nickel and dime stuff. Let Shopify help you with that. With Shopify, your first sale is closer than you think. It's Shopify, right, Dawson?
Established in 2025 has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Carolla, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Carolla to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/Carolla.
Homes.com knows that when it comes to home shopping, it's never just about the house or condo. It's about the home. And what makes a home is more than just a house or property. It's the location. It's the neighborhood. If you have kids, it's also schools, nearby parks, transportation options, all the above. That's why Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth information they need to find the right home. And when I say in-depth, I'm talking about deep. That's right. Each listing features comprehensive information about the neighborhood, complete with a video guide. They also have details about local schools with test scores, state rankings, and student-to-teacher ratio. They even have an agent directory with the sales history of each agent. So when it comes to finding a home, not just a house, this is everything you need to know, all in one place. Homes.com. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace Man, Abe from Texas. Wanted to have a rich man, poor man for you. Your internet connection has a wired connection. Either you are on a secured server doing international trading, or you're at the public library because you can't afford Wi-Fi. Get it on!
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
All right. We're getting that AI Adam thing worked out. It's going to take a second. I have this to discuss. I sat down with Billy Bush, did his show the other day. I found him quite likable. Don't really know him that well, but had a nice discussion with him. At some point, he was talking about basically having to check himself into a mental institution because he got completely railroaded by the whole Trump Access Hollywood thing. And I'd part of the problem of the times we're living in, and I've talked to a lot of dingbat chicks about this, is I always harken back. I have little snapshots. One of my ex-wife's friends was yelling, "Just shut up, Matt Damon," once because he'd said Harvey Weinstein and Al Franken, they didn't do things that were the same to women. And she started yelling, "Just shut up, just shut up, Matt Damon," who said it. And I was like, oh, okay, we've jumped the shark here. Like something's wrong with our society. Harvey Weinstein's a serial rapist. Al Franken's a gentle Jew joker. And somebody pointed that out, and you want that person to shut up, which is weird.
Yeah.
I said a million times when Trump. By the way, he's bragging about molesting women. Anyway, but they just lie about Trump. It's like he's basically saying, it's if you saying, where are you from? Where are you from in Florida, Mayhem?
North Carolina.
I mean, North Carolina. Who lived in Florida?
Nobody.
Nobody?
My cousins.
Didn't you have family from Florida?
I mean, I'm
North
sure
Carolina.
I do. I'm a
What
Miller.
town are you from North Carolina? Fayetteville. Okay. It's if you said to me, I'm so popular in Fayetteville, I could shoot somebody in the street and never go to prison. And then I went, Mayhem shoots people in Fayetteville. Oh, no, Mayhem shoots people. That's basically Trump. That's Trump talking about pussy grabbing. But here's the whole point. It's all bullshit. Whatever. Okay. Why did Billy Bush get railroaded? I don't get what Billy Bush did.
He just sat there listening.
He just was in the bus with the guy.
Laughed uncomfortably.
Also, sorry, humanity, and ladies of The View. If some guy makes some off-colored joke to me, locker room talk, lady talk, race talk, I'll give him a fake laugh, and then we'll go our separate ways. I'm not going to fucking coach him up. You're not going to coach up Donald Trump in a luxury bus.
Well, you shouldn't do that.
And also,
Donald.
you have to interview the guy. So do you really want to get into this? Well, now, Donald, I have a daughter, and I do not appreciate the way you speak hypothetically of women. It's so I don't get what happened to Billy Bush. Why did he have to fucking go?
He's a martyr.
Trump goes on and becomes the president.
Yeah.
Billy Bush gets thrown off the air and exiled. He's sitting around 3 years later going, I haven't worked. I'm having a mental breakdown, and I still don't even know what I did.
It is a strange thing. It happens in society, yeah. Donald Trump just rolling over guys on accident. Like, ruin your life just because...
It's crazy.
You were in the area when I said some crazy stuff.
Okay. The other thing, I'm looking at my list that I forgot that I don't think I got to, Joe, but I don't know if we played it or not. But remember my endangered species theory? Did we get into that? We pulled a tape. Dawson, you pulled a clip off of me and Drew. It's basically we take. I know you're giving a look, but it'll come around. It was the Karen Bass presser. It wasn't a presser, but she answered someone a certain way. It was the I like to get my hair done in Chicago, and it was the Tony concert.
That was the mayor of Oakland. No, mayor of San Francisco, London Breed.
Sorry, that was London Breed. And then the other thing we pulled was the what's her name from Chicago during COVID?
Lori Lightfoot.
Lori Lightfoot would like to get her hair done, so fuck off. You know what I mean? So I was in the process, and then we have Karen Bass and her no clip. I think that one should have. So I was in the process of yelling at Dr. Drew a theory which I've had for a long time, which is borne out, and I've yelled about it on this show as the Karen Bass clip was happening, which is when you take people, okay. Oh, and it happened basically. The reason the lady who was the president of Harvard, the black lady who was the president of Harvard, no longer has her job is because some white bitch tried to fucking bully her in front of Congress, and she's like, fuck you. No, I'm not going to say what you want me to say, which was condemning violence on campus or whatever against Jews or whatever. She wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it, not because she was... Okay, a bunch of stuff. First off, you take these women and you elevate them into positions they didn't earn. You make them. And it's like, hey, bitch, you run Harvard now. And it's like, why? Because we need a black woman to run Harvard and you're a black woman. Or Kamala Harris. Or we'll make you the mayor of, we're not making you, we'll vote you in to be the mayor of San Francisco or LA or Chicago, but it'll be understood that you're there because you're a black woman. Essentially. Higher. It's an optics thing. We like it. We like this thing. Then you get into that position and you feel like you're an apex predator. Yeah. Like I'm saying all the time. All the other animals sleep in trees, but not lions. They sleep right in the middle of the Serengeti. Yeah. They just sprawl out. Mm-hmm. They go to bed because they don't give a shit. Yeah. Because they're apex. Yeah, they're top, right? Yeah. Now, my theory is, and always was, Gavin Newsom's governor. Gavin Newsom gets busted going to the French Laundry with 35 of his closest friends after he's locked everyone else in their fucking house, right? Mm-hmm. He gets popped. He has to fucking apologize. He has to go up and eat shit. He has to talk about, in hindsight, I wouldn't have done it again. Offer some excuse. He goes, there's more people there than I thought, but I have to practice what I preach. He has to go eat shit because he's a heterosexual white dude. He's got to go be remorseful.
Oh, I see where you're going.
When you ask Lori Lightfoot, black lesbian, hey, you've locked everyone in their house and you're not letting anyone go out and get haircuts, but you got a haircut. Why is that okay? She goes, because I wanted a haircut, bitch. Okay, what are you going to do? Fire me? Yeah. Find the Lori Lightfoot one is good. And then when you ask London Breed, black woman, mayor of San Francisco, why she was out partying with Tony when everyone else has to wear masks and stay indoors, she gave a fuck off answer too. And as I was screaming about that with Dr. Drew, I walked out of the studio and somebody asked Karen Bass if she regretted going to Ghana. And we'll see her answer as well. But I'll start. Look, people think this is a theory. I don't think it's a theory. Politicians, when they get busted doing stuff, have to go up and eat a dick. Gavin Newsom doesn't give a fuck about you or the French Laundry or going out to the French Laundry. He's not scared of COVID. He doesn't give a fuck. But he still realizes optics. That was bad. I got caught. Now I got to go up and give some. Find Gavin Newsom, too, with the French Laundry. And you'll just see him up there like, go ahead, white dude. Go ahead, heterosexual dude. Fucking eat some cock. Let's do this. Suck a dick. Get up there and apologize. Or get up there and pretend to apologize. All right. Let's find Karen Bass. Find Lori Lightfoot. We'll just find. All right. She shuts down all the salons, but she goes to the salon.
City. I'm on national media and I'm out in the public eye, and I'm a person who I take my personal hygiene very seriously.
She cares.
As I said, I felt like I needed to have a haircut. I'm not able to do that myself.
Okay. Look, her apology is I care about my shit. Unlike your wife, like every fucking woman you've ever met.
I didn't know that was the lady with the haircut because I didn't do that haircut with
you
the
could
wall.
Get the Flowbee.
I could line her up.
All right, so she gets busted getting a haircut, and her apology is I like to get haircuts, so fuck off. And here's London Breed after she gets busted with the Tony concert.
I was sitting at my table, and when, I don't know about you and whether or not you know who Raphael Sadiq and Dwayne Wiggins are.
Yeah, man.
But I don't know about you, but if you know who they are, I don't care where you're sitting. You're going to get up and start dancing. My drink was sitting at the table. I got up and started dancing because I was feeling the spirit. And I wasn't thinking about a mask. I was thinking about having a good time. And in the process, I was following the health orders.
Yeah. Byron, you edited this, by the way. You did. We did work on this a week ago. I don't know what happened to it, but we have it now. Now we have it. Yeah. But that was supposed to be edited. All right. All right. Well, now I'm just going to say what I already said. If we're doing this, I didn't think I knew we had the tape, but I don't know why Byron didn't know we had the tape, or we didn't know we had the tape. Do we know? I have this. I didn't know. Oh, Byron, there's now that version. Did you edit that one, or you haven't edited one, Byron?
Yeah, it was on your screen. The mashup is there.
Oh, that's the one you edited. It's not the way we. No.
You mentioned apex predator politician, so that's why I called it. And My bad. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not. I'm confused. I don't know. We had these things edited, right? But did that one that we just saw, was that one you just pulled up, or is it one Byron edited?
What we just saw were the existing videos that we had pulled up individually and had prepared for when you call for Lori Lightfoot haircut, London breed, Tony.
Oh, so we did have all that stuff.
We have those videos. I believe we have the Karen Bass as well.
All right. I just wanted everyone seemed confused 10 minutes ago.
I just didn't know what you were talking about with Karen Bass.
Okay.
But Joe told me.
But also, Byron edited that video. He did something. Anyway, I'll talk to you off the air about it. All right. So here's all right. Well, let's just show me. Who gives a fuck? Here we go. You can tell apex predators by where they sleep. They don't look for tree branches, and they don't look for holes. So this is stuff I didn't think we had ready. That's
plop
why.
Out.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, all right. So I already said this, so we're good. But I was saying this on Drew's show with Drew, and then I left the studio, and that's when Karen Bass got asked, is she sorry she went to Ghana before the fires?
Looking back, would you have taken that trip overseas?
You know, I am going to focus today
but please,
on what we know.
Can I ask you one question about Brown?
So she got prodded and just went, no, fuck off, which is why the chick from Harvard is fired, because she just went, fuck off.
You know, she said many years ago that if she was elected mayor, that she wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
Huh. And then she did.
All right, find me Gavin. Now let's contrast the apex predators. Now, by the way, it is a thing where these women have not been confronted. They live in such a gravity-free environment with a press that props them up and hails them as queens all the time, that the second someone starts asking a real question, they get pissed fast.
I'm formulating a theory that's kind of like
Find
yours.
me Newsom and
to me it's more
and
that,
French Laundry. Sorry,
to me it's more that us as humans are used to living in small groups. Mm-hmm. And this guy represents the, like you say, that dad kind of figure of a guy who's like, you know what I mean? That's why the girl's so angry at this and can get this going. Mm-hmm. And we all think of the black ladies as, well, they're historically downtrodden. We give them a pass for doing crazy stuff.
But have you ever... There's an interesting phenomenon that I've always studied, and it started when I was playing in the Dodger celebrity baseball game, when I told a guy who I thought was like a low-level third base coach in the Mud Hen League or something, I told the guy to fuck off, and the guy turned out to be one of the most powerful agents in Hollywood's history. Okay?
Yeah.
And when I told this dude to go fuck himself, and I told him I was going to beat him up, he turned and looked at me like he hasn't been told to fuck off in 35 years.
Yeah.
He didn't know what to do with it.
I know.
And he went into a thing, and I realized as a dude like you or as a dude like me, or when you're not protected by your skin color or your race or your gender or your sexual proclivities, you get told fuck off a lot and you have to eat dick.
You become hardened.
You have to eat dick. These women get fucked because they've been pushed to the front of the line and no one's told them to fuck off in a long time, and they just go, I don't.
Yeah.
Like someone needs to tell them, look, you're doing a press conference. You got busted. Now fucking go up there and apologize. And they don't go, fuck you. Wow. You know what the greatest one? All right, we'll play Newsom. Now, here's what Newsom's got to do when he gets busted.
I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up and walked back, got in my car, and drove back to my house. Instead, I chose to sit there with my wife and a number of other couples that were outside the household. And you can quibble about the guidelines, et cetera, but the spirit of what I'm preaching all the time was contradicted, and I got to own that. And so I want to apologize to you because all right, that's not Raphael Sadiq and Cedric Lamar hadn't been at the same club. He just fucking ate a dick because you have to.
He's worming around, and
but not Karen Bass. Is getting pushed on. You're in Ghana. Are you sad? This guy, I want to heal the guy. Are you sad? No.
She just bulged back with a smile and a no.
Because she's not used to getting prodded.
Yeah.
Because she sailed through.
Yeah.
She's a protected species. She's an apex predator. She fucking sleeps in the middle of the Serengeti. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right, huh?
That's right. Whitey, you better apologize, son.
Get to apologizing.
All right. Now we have AI Adam. We have an intro. That's what I hear.
We all know that AI is artificial, but is it intelligent? Like the Ace Man. Let's find out with AI Ace.
All right. So how's this game go, Joe?
All right. So here's what happened. We got a message on our Substack from one of our Substack subscribers, Chris Druff. And he said he needed advice from Adam Carolla from Loveline about cutting off an ex-girlfriend who cheated on him. So he turned to AI and he put in AI, have Adam Carolla tell me to quit messing with my cheating ex-girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And he got a response. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to know how that would compare with your response. And then what we did, we were inspired by this. We found an AI model. We put in a ton of Adam Carolla and built an intelligence system that mimics Adam. And now I've got 5 different topics that Adam weighed in on.
Okay.
So you can weigh in on the girlfriend or any one of these topics or anything you want to do.
Look, the thing about the cheating girlfriend is if you can't get over it, then you got to leave immediately. If it's just going to bug you, there's guys have certain things where like maybe this chick slept with your best friend before you started dating her and you just can't get it out of your bean, or she cheated or whatever this digression is. If you won't let it go and you're constantly going to sort of, people have a thing. You ever have like a sore tooth and you flick it with your tongue all fucking day? Yeah. And it's like, why am I doing this? Why am I flicking my sore tooth? Why? Every time I flick it with my tongue, it hurts, but I just do it. And that's a dude wiring.
Yeah.
And if that's your wiring and you ain't getting over it, then you just leave tomorrow. That's it. Because it's not fair to her and it ain't fair to you either.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, wait, do we have his answer?
How's the AI?
Yeah, we do.
Up?
We are building a model of your voice. But in the meantime, we have the closest we can find, which is Evil Jackman as your answers. Here you go.
All right. Listen up, pal. This is Adam Carolla, and I'm going to give it to you straight because nobody else will.
All right, pause it. It's already too much stall talk for me. I'm not. It's dumb people, professional wrestlers, and politicians go, all right, you want an answer? I'll give you the answer. A lot of people aren't prepared for that. It's like, stop fucking stalling. That's what Kamala Harris does. Like, just fucking start spitting out Answer. Stop stalling with double talk. So it's already this is bad because I'm not a staller. But all right.
Talking to your ex-girlfriend, the one who cheated on you. What are you, some kind of masochist? You think by keeping her in your life, you're gonna win her back or prove something? Newsflash. You're just proving you're a doormat.
I've never said newsflash in my life.
She cheated. That's the ultimate betrayal. You're worth more than being someone's backup plan or emotional punching bag. Get some self-respect. Block her number. Delete her from social media and move on. There's a whole world out there with people who won't screw you over. So do yourself a favor. Stop the chit-chat with the cheater. Focus on you, because at the end of the day, you're the only one you can count on. Now go out there.
Mahalo.
I'll go out there and do something. All right.
AI Adam left us at the end.
All right. I'm ready for more. If Byron's on a call, you should probably tell him to do it in another room or something, perhaps.
So,
I mean, if you
Adam,
got a hot mic is what I'm saying.
Real Adam.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on fake boobs?
Not a fan. I understand sometimes necessary, but not a fan. I think when there were novelty, it was kind of interesting, back in the day. But as I mature, I drift closer to the natural boob. I'm a fan of the natural boob. It's always kind of weird, too, when people get the fake boob and then show them off. Like Lauren Sanchez, Bezos's squeeze, has big fake titties and is always shoving them out there. And it's just a weird thing. Like, if they're real tits and you want to shove them out there, so be it. But if they're fake tits, you just bought those tits and now you're pushing them out there. So I have an average sized dork, right? But I would be a very obnoxious person if I got a fake dick added on to my dick. Like if I just went, well, let's enhance my dick. I got 6.5 inches on a good day, but let's make it 13 and let's girth it up a little bit. And then I started walking around in a banana hammock. This way, hey, I'm shoving my fucking big fake cock everywhere. And then you'd go, you just had silicone injected into your cock and now you're pushing. Yeah, I like to wear Daisy Dukes. You know me. And you're like, Adam, those sweatpants are like 4 sizes too small. Hey, see the package? Look at the package. Oh, the inauguration's coming up? Oh, we're going to the inauguration? Oh, let me get my dick. Show my fucking... You know what? I'm just going to show up in cycling shorts and I'm going to pull my dick up against my stomach. And then I'm going to pull my shorts up real high so that you can see the outline of my cock. Like, you'd go... You're the most obnoxious, worst person in the world if that was you as a dude. Why does Lauren Sanchez get a pass? Why do the fake titty chicks get a pass? And no wonder all the other women hate the fake titty chicks. We would hate the fake dick guys. You know what I mean?
I already do.
Lauren Sanchez is wearing a lacy bra underneath a blazer at the Trump inauguration. She can't not show, there is no circumstance that she can't show her fake tits off.
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
We have the technology.
Okay. All right.
AI Adam, what do you think of fake boobs?
Fake boobs are like Teslas. Some people love them. Some think they're a symbol of everything wrong with society. Look, I'm not against fake boobs. You want to upgrade the hardware. Fine. But don't act like they're not fake. Own it. Call them what they are. Factory installed options. They've been around so long now, they're practically vintage, like rotary phones, but way more distracting.
You're like a hacky Fonz.
This is bad 80s DJ. That's not me.
I know.
I'm this close to dropping trow, dude.
I miss all that rotary phone humor.
Yeah. This fucking AI sucks.
Yeah,
it's worthless. I'm happy.
We put a lot of you into this AI to build this thing.
Wow. They really hacked you up, bud.
But it's using phrases I've never used.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
it's just weird, right?
It's more like
it's
a
only
radio.
going off of me. So where's it getting phrases I don't use? All right.
You want to give us real Adam's thoughts on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle?
Worthless sacks of space, but it's our fault for elevating them to like, hey, let's give Meghan Markle and Prince Harry $100 million to do a podcast. Like, who cares what these two fucking bird brains have? They have no. What does Meghan Markle know that I need to know? She doesn't know anything. They're fucking obnoxious and they're idiots, and it's our fault because we do this thing where they go, oh, the Prince and Meghan Markle are speaking. First off, I hate all the race hustlers. She is a race hustler. She presents as an attractive white lady. So all the shit that she talks about when she talks about discrimination all the time would be fine, except for no one thinks of her as a black woman. So where's the calls of discrimination? I don't get how it works. If we can't tell you're black, then where does the discrimination come in?
Yeah.
So she's a fucking whiner. She's a race hustler. He's a fucking henpecked pussy. And I've not heard one thought. Like, I've never went, did you hear what Meghan Markle's, you know what her take on Israel is? Like, she has no fucking thoughts. Not their fault. They're just dumb people. It's our fault for worshiping at the altar of idiots who have nothing to say. That's it. But look, the queen of I don't have anything to say is Oprah. And she's going to sit down and have an interview with the two people that have nothing to say. So the queen of nothing to say is going to sit down with the Duke and Duchess of fucking nothing to say. The only thing I'm happy about is we can turn the page on this chapter of our society. We now go, fuck these two idiots and fuck Oprah. She doesn't have anything to say. We're going to listen to interesting people who do podcasts or on the internet, or interesting voices. We want to hear what real people have to say. All right, sorry.
AI Adam is learning in real time.
The royal couple who quit their jobs and moved to LA to lecture us on privacy while signing Netflix deals and releasing memoirs. Harry's out here spilling all the royal tea, and Meghan's looking at him like, we still got bills to pay, buddy. Look, I don't care what castle you came from. If you're living in California and doing Oprah interviews, you're just another influencer with a better accent.
Hold on.
This AI is trash.
This guy, you know his voice these guys are doing?
The Fonz, I thought.
No. I'm going to give Dawson a shot at this one. Whose voice is this?
If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face. No, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. This is Billy Vera.
Oh, shit, yeah.
This is
Too much good stuff.
Yeah. That's who this guy is. He's the AM PM voice. Billy and the Beaters? What was Billy's band? Billy Vera had hits.
Yeah.
And it became the voice of AM PM. He came on this show. He just started talking, and I was like, I know that voice. And
Billy
he's like,
Vera and the Beaters.
Yeah, that's what I said, right?
You suddenly want to beef
I was like,
jerky and Mountain Dew.
I was craving a hot dog with cheese in it, you know? And I was like, in the middle of the interview, I was like, are you the voice of AM PM? It's like, too much good stuff. And I was like, oh, that's you. That is Billy Vera. We have him somewhere saying something, but that's
an Ace Award.
That's what this fucking guy sounds. He's doing Billy Vera as the AM PM guy. He's not doing Adam Carolla.
It might have won Best Impression as Billy Vera as Billy Vera.
Oh, really? Well, try to find a clip of that somewhere.
I have all those at home.
There's something on the internet somewhere, Billy Vera. There's got to be AM PM.
Oh, there's Billy Vera all over the place. Yeah, we can find that.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, that's who this guy is. Sorry, go ahead.
You want to do one more?
Yeah.
Regular Adam, what's your thoughts on the Kansas City Chiefs and their recent string of controversial calls by referees?
when teams are dynasties, there's three elements to becoming a dynasty. You have to have the quarterback, you have to have the coach, you have to have the personnel, and you have to win, but you have to have a dusting of juju, of like luck, of like weirdness. Like when you go back and look at any dynasty, you take the Patriots. What happened? The Tuck rule. I don't even know what the fuck. I've heard the Tuck rule explained 200 times. I still don't know what the fuck it means. No one knows what it means. The quarterback's got the ball. He's going to pass, but he decided not to pass. So he starts to bring the ball in, and then he gets stripped. Okay. That's called fumbling. I don't know. It happens 8 times a weekend where the quarterback's back, and he's like, if you throw the ball forward and the guy hits your arm, that's a forward motion, forward pass, fine. Or if you get stripped, it's getting stripped. So the whole reason the Patriots exist is on some weird fucking rule that I've been watching the NFL for 40 years. I've never heard. It never been implemented. He got stripped. The game's over. There's that. There's weird little things like when they then went to the Super Bowl and they beat the Rams and they're on that final drive, the guy caught a flare pass or whatever. He got like tackled in bounds clearly, but the ref said he was out of bounds and they stopped the clock to help the drive or whatever. There's all these weird little things. Nobody just fucking dominates outright. Weird little things that happen. And when you are a dynasty, those weird little intangible things start happening in your favor. Mm-hmm. At some point, you stop being a dynasty and they stop. So KC is the dynasty, and the dynasties get the weird bounces of the balls and the calls of the ref and the weird little things that happen that don't happen for other teams. When there are a dynasty, and that's what you're witnessing with the Kansas City Chiefs right now.
All right, now A item.
Look, I'm not saying the refs are in on some grand conspiracy, but when the Chiefs are getting every call, it feels like we're watching WWE with helmets. I mean, Mahomes gets sneezed on, and it's a flag. Meanwhile, some poor bastard on the other team gets hit so hard he's coughing up his ancestors, and it's play on. Refs gotta learn. We're not here to watch them call games. We're here for football, not a flag parade.
It's getting smarter. I'll give you that.
All
It's
right.
getting smarter.
Tomato, right? Oh, you mean ketchup ball. Right. Try our tasty new sub salads and more at AMPM. Too much good stuff.
Boy, I want this job.
That's who this guy's doing.
Too much good stuff.
He's doing Billy Vera. He's not doing Adam Carolla. That's what he sounds like, Billy Vera. Why is he doing Billy Vera and not me?
AI.
Intelligence undetermined. AI ace.
I feel like my job's safe. My job is safe.
Definitely.
All right, you got some news you want to roll
I
into?
definitely got some news. You want to jump right into it, or
Yep.
should we take? All right, no
No.
break today.
Go right into it.
Man, look, I know they pulled this up. Trump slams a sermon asking him to show mercy towards LGBTQ people and immigrants.
That's on them. Like you could see that dyke coming a mile away. Why is she?
How do they
presiding over
I don't
this?
know exactly why they did this. The National Prayer Service was one of several events presidents attend around being sworn in. So maybe it's outside of them. I don't know. I thought that it was his party. He would curate the entire party, but
Dawson has the clip. She
Well, I
just,
sent it to Byron. He's not here right now.
Oh, where's Byron at?
I don't know.
we lost our man. Man down.
Oh, okay. Well, where's Byron? Is he somewhere? Oh, okay. All right. Well, keep going, and when Byron
I can
comes
see
back,
him. Yeah,
I can
see him. Well, I'll just following a traditional inaugural prayer service at Washington National Cathedral on Tuesday, and during which an Episcopal bishop called on President Donald Trump to show mercy towards the people, LGBTQ people and immigrants.
Oh, now,
Here we go.
Now we have it.
In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now.
They're scared.
There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families. Some who fear for their lives.
All right, stop it. Well, that's on them. It's 2025. Get the fuck over it. No one gives a fuck about you. Stop with the narcissistic fear. And by the way, what exactly are they talking about? You know, like you're a lesbian and you're 19, or you're a lesbian and you're 14. Like, I don't know. Really? 2025.
They think they're going to round them up in camps? I don't understand.
I don't know what Trump having. Okay. We just had Biden for 4 years talking about what he's going to do for black people, but he didn't do anything. But are they still scared, or are they something going to get done, or what's going to go on with the LGBT and the trans community? And then what's Trump doing? And just shut the fuck up and get the fuck on. This, by the way, it's all this talk is why we don't have fire prevention. Just talk about, you know, the sitting down in a seat at the table. And it's all the extra talk I've been fucking talking about for a million years. Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever changes. There is no plan. Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck if you want to dyke out with your girlfriend or les off. Go ahead and do what you want. He doesn't give a fuck. That's it. Okay, but everyone has to grandstand. It's all narcissism is what it is. Now, I have no idea how this chick wasn't vetted, but here we go, everyone. And now all the heroes who oppose Trump are going to step up. It's going to be awesome. All right, what else you got, Mayhem?
Yeah. Let me just get this Trump out of the way. The Trump administration shuts down the White House Spanish language page and social media. The funny part about this is that it gives a 404 message, but it included a go home button. That just said,
they're leaning into
go
it.
home. Kind of rude, but in a page feature, if you click that, it was a page featuring a montage of Trump in his first term and on the campaign trail. But the button was later updated to read "Go to home page."
Oh, I see.
I see. I think there was a little troll right there. But they took down the social media that's in Spanish. The at La Casa Blanca, the government page on reproductive freedom were also disbanded. So they're basically, completely taking the Spanish language off anything White House related.
Well, here's the thing. So I've been in the Spanish language thing is a perfect example of these do-gooders who fuck everyone up. When I was here, when there was a big debate about English as a second language and we need Spanish-speaking teachers and these people need to be taught in the language that they know, my thing is get the 8-year-olds, hit them hard with English so they speak good English by the time they graduate so they can get a fucking job. Your world, in your kind world, you speak to them in Spanish. They speak to you in Spanish, and they never learn proper English and thus have jobs where they're gardeners and day laborers because they can't be lawyers and doctors because they haven't mastered the language. So who really cares about the kids more?
Yeah.
The nice person who's teaching them in their own language, or the asshole white guy who's me, who wants them to learn English so that they don't have to be your fucking gardener when they graduate, they could be your lawyer.
Seems like it would be a healthier nation to have everybody on the same page linguistically.
It would be nice. Yeah, but they don't do that because they have to kowtow to those people because they want their votes. But once they start losing that vote, which they're losing, I wonder if they're going to start turning on them. They already kind of have. It is kind of funny. It's funny when the ethnics, like when people get mad at a black guy that voted for Trump and stuff, like, come on, dude. You're black. What are you fucking doing? And what's going on with the Hispanic people? What are you doing? It's like, I don't know, voting for someone other than your shitty candidate. How about that?
Well, speaking of, Tracy Morgan says he felt culturally isolated at SNL for his first 3 years. He calls it the whitest show in America. Yeah, he mentioned that, I wanted to show them my world, how funny it was, speaking of like black culture. But the first 3 years, I felt like I was being culturally isolated sometimes. I'm coming from a world of blacks. I'm an inner city kid. To be on the whitest show in America, I felt by myself. I felt like they weren't getting it.
I mean, look, there's reference points. You know what I mean? Like, I'm old, and if I ever try to make music reference points with people, nobody knows the fuck I'm talking about, ever. So, and, I reference some sitcom that nobody's talked about, and I get there's cultures and there's reference points, and in a way, it's like trying to do comedy in Europe or in a different place, where you can't go out. I couldn't. I guess I could go to England, do some Gavin Newsom is a retard jokes, but it's not going to land like it would land in Orange County.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, there is that. But and maybe it's a black thing, but it's more of a kind of what you ate. Like, I don't know anything about really like Cubans, and Cubans from Miami were talking about the sandwiches and plantains and stuff like that. And I'm like, I get it, but it's not. It wouldn't be good. I'm not a good audience for Cuban comedy.
Yeah. If you think about it, he was on during a certain time from 96 to 2003. So it's a different time in American history, a different time in the culture of Saturday Night Live. You know what I mean? Now Keenan's been on for the past 20 years, and there's a more like inclusive sort of cast. But back then it was very, very white.
Eddie Murphy predated Tracy,
for sure,
and was a star and seemed to get along okay. But anyway, I like Tracy, but I don't know. I'm all for just giving. I would like a moratorium on race talk.
Yeah, let's just not talk about it for the next 4 years. See how it works.
Unless you have a apex predator theory like mine.
Yeah.
Then that's fine. That's acceptable.
All right. Look, some more celebrity news. Jenny McCarthy and Donnie Wahlberg revealed that they sneak off to have sex in public. Yeah. I don't know. For me, this is like a little sketchy. You can get a sex crime for that. Like, it could be on a registry forever, even if you are Jenny McCarthy.
Oh, really?
And Donnie Wahlberg. I mean, I don't know.
He loves her so much.
Yeah, I get it.
I get part of it. I get the first 6 months. I don't get year 17. Like he is so goddamn into her.
Yeah, he loves the old lady. I think it's pretty beautiful.
It's good, except for in comparison, you look bad. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean in comparison?
Jeez, you ever get in those? You're in relationships and you turn on Entertainment Tonight, and what did Donnie Wahlberg do for Jenny McCarthy for Valentine's Day? And she's like, I rented out a barge. I put 200 million long-stem roses on the barge. Your woman's sitting next to you.
Yeah.
She's staring. You got her fucking window tint. You got her window tint on her Vega for Valentine's Day. I rented a barge. I put 200 million long-stem roses on it. Then I got the Beach Boys to reunite, to come on the boat, to serenade. And your fucking woman just looks at you and she goes, you would never, ever do that for me. You would never do that for me. You would never. Then I bought her a Prada purse that holds 4 people. It's so big. It's one off. And we flew on the Concorde to Paris, and they just, you see your woman's getting pissed because she does the you would never do that thing for me. So that's why I don't like these jack-offs, because they're always doing this thing, and it's on TV, and it's agitating the other women. You see where I'm at?
Took me to AMPM for our anniversary.
He got me a hot dog that had chili in it. All right, Mayhem. Mark Dubowitz has going to join us. He's an attorney. He's a venture capitalist. He's an expert on all things in the Middle East. I'll do a one-on-one with him, or you can hang out, whatever you want. What do you want?
Yeah, I'll sit in.
I
might gain some knowledge.
Sit in. We'll take a quick break. Talk to Mark right after this. Homes.com knows that when it comes to home shopping, it's never just about the house or condo. It's about the home. And what makes a home is more than just a house or property. It's the location. It's the neighborhood. If you have kids, it's also schools, nearby parks, transportation options, all the above. That's why Homes.com goes above and beyond to bring home shoppers the in-depth information they need to find the right home. And when I say in-depth, I'm talking about deep. That's right. Each listing features comprehensive information about the neighborhood, complete with a video guide. They also have details about local schools with test scores, state rankings, and student-to-teacher ratio. They even have an agent directory with the sales history of each agent. So when it comes to finding a home, not just a house, this is everything you need to know, all in one place. Homes.com. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
In the spirit of Murrow, Jennings, Cronkite, here's another great moment in local news.
If you looked out your window and thought, well, it looks a little cold, but I wish I had a reporter freezing on my TV in front of me, it's your lucky day. The good news is that the snow has kind of let down for a lot of it. The bad news is that everything else still sucks.
That's a great moment in local news. Now, back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Mark Dubowitz is joining us. He's an expert on Middle Eastern affairs, as well as an attorney and a former venture capitalist. And also, I'm curious. Like, I don't know anything about Iran other than they're horrible, and that's all I hear. But I also don't want them to get a nuclear device, because that sounds like bad for everybody. But what do we need to know about Iran that sort of the average person doesn't?
So, Adam, first of all, thanks so much for having me on. And I think with Iran, one needs to first distinguish between the country of Iran and the Iranian people and the regime in Iran. I mean, this is a brutal, repressive, aggressive regime that's been in power since 1979. And what I think people need to know is that the majority of Iranians despise this regime. They've been on the streets calling for death to the dictator, calling for the end of the regime, certainly since 2009. And millions of Iranians have turned out in 2009, 2017, every year since then, 2022, 23, Iranian women were on the streets, ripping off their hijabs and saying, end this gender apartheid. So I think important for your listeners to understand that it's really the regime that is anti-American, anti-Israel, and is trying to build a nuclear weapon. And it's the majority of Iranians that really are looking for American support to bring down this regime.
So I have theories that are based on sort of in psychology more than they're based in, Middle Eastern policy. But these guys are bullies, and they really only understand guys who ball up their fist and punch them in the face. I that's the whole notion of trying to cut deals and be friendly, and it's a sort of diplomacy where we go, look, we're creating terrorists. We have to understand them and be more inclusive in culture, whatever. I think they just look at that as weak. And I think when a Biden comes around, or even Obama comes around, and certainly Hillary Clinton or something like that, they just go weak. I think they respond to crazy and strong. And that's why I kind of like Trump in these situations, because I feel like they're scared of him because he's erratic and they're not sure exactly what he's going to do, and it keeps them off guard. But I don't know. You tell me. What's your take?
Adam, I totally agree with you. I mean, and we have some history and evidence to demonstrate that. I mean, President Obama in his first term was sort of dragged kicking and screaming to impose maximum sanctions on Iran by the Congress, which overwhelmingly Democrats and Republicans got together to force the Obama administration to really bring the regime in Iran to its knees. And then Obama went to negotiate with the Iranians, and they ran circles around his negotiators. And he did this 2015 nuclear deal, which gave Iran really patient pathways to nuclear weapons because all the restrictions would disappear, would sunset within about a decade. And then President Trump came in and he imposed what he called maximum pressure. And he put on a whole slew of sanctions that really brought the Iranian economy to its knees. And then he did something unprecedented. He killed this guy, Qasem Soleimani, who was the world's most dangerous terrorist and no one had ever heard of at the time, who was the head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Quds Force, who was responsible for killing and maiming thousands of Americans, not to mention hundreds of thousands of Middle Easterners. And President Bush was unwilling to go after him. Certainly President Obama was unwilling to go after him. And Trump ordered Joint Special Operations Command to kill him based on intelligence, really exquisite intelligence provided by the Israeli Mossad. And what's interesting is for 11 months after that, the Iranians were terrified. And in fact, they stopped expanding their nuclear program. And it's only when Biden came in and he said, you know what, no maximum pressure, no military force. I want to negotiate with the Iranians and go back to the Obama deal, that the Iranians began to massively expand their nuclear program. And that's where we are today after 4 years of, I think, Biden appeasement with respect to Iran. They now have a massive nuclear weapons program. And they're turning the screw from turning that program into a weapon. And so now this is what Trump is inheriting. And I'm hoping that he goes back to the old Trump, which really shows serious pressure and U.S. leverage and the credible threat of U.S. military force, because that's the only way he's ever going to get a deal that defangs Iran's nuclear weapons program. What's in it
for Biden and Obama and others to play ball with Iran? I never get what would their argument be if they were saying, okay, I've heard what you had to say, Mark, but you have to understand, here's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly had these debates with Obama administration officials, Biden administration officials. By the way, many of them were the same officials. And their whole theory of the case is that if you escalate against the regime in Iran, the response will be more escalation. So we need to de-escalate. We need to find an off-ramp. We need to find confidence-building measures. We need to engage the Iranians in diplomacy. And then we can persuade them through our diplomatic aptitude that we can actually come up with a deal that constrains their nuclear advances. And by the way, those Israelis, those Israelis are escalating against Iran, escalating against Hezbollah and Hamas. And that escalation is only going to lead to more escalation. Well, it turned out that wasn't the case, right? I mean, the Israelis showed President Biden that he was just flat out wrong, that the Israelis ignored his advice and they went after Hezbollah. And Adam, you followed this, I'm sure, with the pagers and the walkie-talkies, and then killing the head of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, taking out, Hezbollah's weapons capabilities, missile capabilities, killing the political head of Hamas inside Iran, a guy named Ismail Haniyeh, and really eviscerating Hamas's military command structure. So the Israelis did something very different. They escalated to de-escalate rather than de-escalated in order to try to strike a deal. And I think that's the fundamental difference between Biden, Obama, and Prime Minister Netanyahu. And we'll see where President Trump falls in his second term.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with a kind of hippy-dippy mom, and I got this spoon-fed to us. Sting wrote a song in that 1980s about the Russians loving their children too and stuff like that. What they do is they graft on their own morality and mindset to a group that does not share it at all and wants you dead. And they go, but if they only understood that we don't mean harm, that we sort of come in peace and that we want to live in unity, if they understood that, then they would act accordingly. And we have to not agitate them. They have to understand it. And that works about as well as community policing. It's like, no, all they understand is there's less cops, and that means more robbing. That's how they react. And I wish we didn't live in that society. where it's like, all right, Israel, you got to start chop the head off the snake. Go ahead and start killing leaders. I hate that, except for it's that or the alternative, which is they're going to try to kill you, and they don't stop. And I wish there was some sort of magic wand we could go, stop hating the Jews, stop hating the West, stop hating those who are successful. And by the way, we will help you. You can prosper. You can have a good life. We can do this. They're not doing it, and so they need to be killed. That's about it.
I'm exactly right. I mean, that's why the distinction between the regime and the people is so important. I mean, I partly agree with Sting, right? I do think most Iranians love their kids. And I think most Iranians hate the regime. The regime despises their kids. In fact, the regime, in order to put down the woman life freedom protests that occurred in 2022, 2023, and I don't know if many of your listeners know this because it didn't get widely reported, but the regime launched chemical attacks against Iranian school children in order to break the back of this revolution, this protest.
So the hijab protests where everyone was taking off their hijab was kind of quelled, you're saying, because the children were gassed or poisoned?
Well, right. In two ways. I mean, these thugs went into the streets and started killing Iranian women and putting them in, those they didn't kill, they put in this notorious prison called Evin Prison where they were raped and tortured. But even that didn't quell the protests. And so the regime sent out its thugs and launched chemical attacks against Iranian schoolgirls. And that was at the end what broke the back of this protest. So, that's the thing. I mean, this is a regime that not only despises our kids and wants to kill them, but despises Iranian kids and is prepared to kill them. And so this is what we're dealing with. It's an unfortunate reality, as you say, Adam. That's the world we live in where, these are not people that share our values. These are not these regime leaders do not share our ambitions and aspirations. They're brutal men, and they're men, by the way, and they're hardened men, and they have an ideology, they have a theology, they believe strongly in it, and we need to give that some credit. When they say they want to wipe Israel off the map, they mean it. When they say they want to get rid of the great Satan, the United States of America, they mean it. They're serious, and I think history's replete with examples of people who meant things that we didn't take seriously, and unfortunately, it led to brutal wars in the 20th century and before.
Yeah. I mean, my take on it is like, I don't want to kill you, but you're forcing us to kill you. So, sorry. I feel there's a lot of that, which is, it's not something I think we'd enjoy or want and wish upon anybody. But if your mentality is going to be this, then you have to be killed. So there you go.
Do you believe that during this new administration, there's more or less likelihood of us getting into an armed conflict with Iran?
Well, I think President Trump certainly doesn't want to get into armed conflict with anyone. His motto is sort of a reprisal of the Ronald Reagan idea of peace through strength, right? If the United States looks strong, if we have a strong military that's effective, and we're well armed, and we're serious about using it, and our enemies perceive us as being credible in that respect, then maybe we can limit the wars. And that's what he said, and he's made that very clear. He said that in his inauguration address. He said that many, many times. So I don't think he wants to get into any more Middle Eastern wars or certainly any wars in the Indo-Pacific against China. But I think to do so, he understands that America needs to be strong and credible. And I think, Adam, you mentioned this crazy man theory, right? This madman theory that if our enemies think Trump is sort of slightly mad and unpredictable, that's actually an advantage, right? I think President Biden, President Obama were kind of predictable in their responses. I mean, everybody sort of knew what they were going to do, and our enemies understood that. I think with Trump, this unpredictability, and the example I gave of killing this guy, Qasem Soleimani, was a perfect example of it. I mean, nobody thought that would happen. The Islamic Republic of Iran, the regime was shocked, completely shocked. Their whole system was paralyzed by that decision. And I think that's what Trump wants to do. Now, the other side of the coin is the Israelis, and we can talk about the Israelis. The Israelis are not going to allow Iran to develop nuclear weapons. And if you want to talk a little bit more about that, I'm happy to weigh in on it. But they have a very different view of how to stop the Islamic Republic of Iran, and it ain't diplomacy. And they have no margin of error because they're a tiny country the size of New Jersey, hanging on in the Mediterranean there, surrounded by hostile countries, no more hostile than the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Yeah, I've had an argument or two with people about this, but it's like I believe that Israel would like to exist and like to exist in peace, but their neighbors want them dead, so now they have to kill them. And the good news is the countries that are not steeped in Sharia law have a little more advancements in the sciences and a little more in the industrial military complex. So it makes it possible for these people who have the technology to destroy the people who are essentially living like it's 1,000, 2,000 years ago over there. But they don't really, I don't think they want to. They just have to. Again, I'm repeating myself. Also, I think it's kind of comical that we sit here and we're like, Russia and all these rogue nations want Trump to be president. That's why they're X, Y, and Z the cooking things. It's like, no, I think the rogue nations want Biden. They want Kamala Harris. They want Hillary Clinton. The bad actors of the world want those guys, not that guy in office. So it's sort of a flawed premise of saying, Russia is trying to get Trump elected, or whoever the rogue actor du jour is trying to get Trump elected. I was like, no, I think that's a nightmare for them.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I want to touch on Israel for a second because, you mentioned this idea that the Israelis just want to live in peace. And I noted before the show on X that they do this World Happiness Index. They rank the happiest countries in the world every year. And it just really shocked me that Israel was ranked the 5th happiest country in the world in 2024.
Wow.
Now, 2024 was a brutal year for the Israelis. As you know, October 7th, 2023, this Hamas invasion and massacre of Israelis and hostage taking and rapes and tortures, and then a 15 months of war right through that year in 2024, where the Israelis were having to fight in Gaza and in Lebanon against Iran and taking serious casualties. And yet Israel was ranked the 5th happiest country in the world after like 4 Scandinavian countries.
Yeah,
which,
they always
worry about.
They always take the podium.
Yeah, they take the podium because, what do they have to worry about? I mean, I would argue they have, in some cases, they have more to worry about than we realize. I mean, when you look at what's going on in places like Sweden, with the influx of radical Islamists and how they're taking over Swedish society, I think they got more to worry about than meets the eye. However, the fact that Israel's ranked 5th and ranked 5th during a brutal war says a lot about this society, right? And I think about Israel as really kind of a model society in that respect, in that they want to live in peace, like they want to be Athens, right? Sort of the idea of Athens during the time of the Greeks, but they also have to be Sparta, right? They also have to be not only enjoying life and civilization and culture and food, and they have to be prepared to fight. And the younger generation of Israelis are prepared to fight, and they've really, I think, surprised their parents and grandparents by their willingness to go into these brutal conditions to defend their country. So I think that there's some sort of hope there for Western civilization, because I think the Israelis are not only fighting for their survival, they're fighting for ours, and they're fighting for the survival of the Western civilization. And I hope President Trump appreciates that. I think he does. I think he admires allies that are willing to fight and die in their own defense. I think he admires allies who aren't asking for U.S. troops to come and save them. I think President Trump wants to limit the number of U.S. troops that are sent around the world to fight for other countries. And I think with the Israelis, he's got a real model there of a country that's willing to fight and die in its own defense. So I hope the Trump administration provides ironclad support for Israel, because again, it's not just about Israel, it's really about the United States and it's about Western civilization.
What was the story about returning a lot of cash to Iran from a few years ago? It's probably the Obama administration, but we'd had a lot of their cash, I guess, in our possession. And we returned a lot of it, I guess. And I'm always curious why that was. Like, what was the motivation to return the cash? Why Obama did that, and what that story was. And again, sort of, what would Obama say if you said, why'd you give all the cash back to Iran? He'd say, because And
Why?
something would make sense to him at least, but I don't know if it makes sense to us. But what was that story?
Yeah, so the story is all about the Iran nuclear deal of 2015, and this was a nuclear deal where, in exchange for restrictions on Iran's nuclear weapons program, the United States would provide sanctions relief. We would lift sanctions against their economy, against their oil sector, against their automotive sector, and we would also release tens of billions of dollars in frozen oil funds that we had restricted based on our sanctions. And so President Obama would say, well, look, that's the nature of the deal, right? We get these restrictions on their nuclear program, and we got to give up tens of billions of dollars in sanctions relief. That's the quid pro quo for the deal. The problem, of course, with that argument is, number one, on the nuclear side, as I mentioned earlier, those restrictions were temporary, and many of them go away this year and over the next few years. And so Iran would be able to massively expand its nuclear program, develop an industrial size enrichment capability, and have near zero nuclear breakout while getting what we had estimated at my think tank, almost $1 trillion in sanctions relief. So now you would have a regime with a massive nuclear program, a turn of the screw from nuclear weapons, and hundreds of billions of dollars that it could be used not only to fortify its economy and its system of internal repression, but to fund all of these terrorist proxies. And that was, again, the problem with the Obama nuclear deal. It was just a nuclear deal. It didn't deal with Iran's terror armies, and it gave those terror armies billions of dollars in sanctions relief-based funds in order to do what they did on October 7th and attack Israel. So that was the major story. Now, there was sort of a subset of that story where Obama not only gave them sanctions relief, but he sent $1.7 billion in pallets of cash that really were like US dollar bills and pallets that were shipped over to Iran in around 2015, 2016, in exchange for, essentially in exchange for U.S. hostages that the Iranians were holding. The Obama administration came up with some other story that it wasn't really about that, but it was about that. And so, that got a lot of attention at the time, because literally you could see images of these pallets with U.S. $100 bills being shipped to the Islamic Republic. And of course, that's money that they not only can pocket, but very easily move to their terror proxies. And that's why Hezbollah and Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad and Shiite militias in Iraq and the Houthis in Yemen, got a total terror windfall after that nuclear deal was reached.
Do they have an end game in terms of the regime, the Iranian regime? For us, we can kind of follow the money and we can get to the bottom of a lot of stuff. For them, is it more follow the religion? Like, you say to yourself, all right, you're the strong arm leader of this country. Wouldn't you prefer to, not be droned to death by Trump and the Americans? Wouldn't you prefer just to sort of live lavishly and not have uprisings that you had to put down constantly and poison school-age kids and things like that? Like, if they took us and they put us in that position, we would immediately start just enjoying probably the fruits of our labors and everyone else's labors around us that made us put us in this lavish condition. Is it just the religious fanaticism that motivates them? Or because it seems like there's an easier way to do what they're doing and stay in power, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, look, our founding principles, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? That's who we are. That's our ethos. Those are the ideas that we believe in. A fundamental commitment to democracy, to the republic, to better lives for our kids and grandkids. And that's who we are. That's not who Iran's leaders are, right? I think the majority of Iranians are like that. You guys know that in LA. Incredibly successful Iranian Americans in LA, in upstate New York, I grew up in Toronto. They used to call Toronto Taranto. I think they still do because there's a huge Iranian Canadian community there. Incredibly successful. It's the only place in the world where Iranians don't succeed are inside the Islamic Republic of Iran. They're wonderful immigrants wherever they go. The problem is that inside the Islamic Republic of Iran, they don't succeed because their country is controlled by religious fanatics. And again, they're men of ideas, right? I think as Americans, we are people of ideas. We believe in our ideas and certainly in our republic and our constitution. But I think often we give short thrift to the fact that there are other men of ideas and other people of ideas who really believe strongly in those ideas. I mean, it was the problem right through the 30s with Adolf Hitler. I mean, we didn't believe that Hitler really meant what he meant to say and what he wrote in Mein Kampf. And I think, the Brits, the French, and we Americans as well were shocked when Hitler actually was prepared to bring his country to war and ultimately to destruction in order to pursue those ideas. Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran, he's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. These are hard men with hard ideas, and they believe in these ideas. And those ideas are ideas of spreading the Islamist revolution beyond Iran into the Middle East and globally. They are driving the United States out of the Middle East. They are destroying the state of Israel. And ultimately, they are about, if they can, weakening, constraining, undermining, and potentially toppling the American Republic. Now, they have great ambitions, which might sound outrageous and outlandish when we hear them, but they believe in them and they believe it's possible. But the one thing they do know they think they can achieve is they can be the leader of the Muslim world. And they're trying to inculcate Muslims around the world with their radical views. Now, the opposite of the Islamic Republic of Iran would be like the United Arab Emirates. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Dubai or Abu Dhabi to the UAE. I mean, you go there, it's beautiful, it's prosperous, it's stable, it's peaceful, because Mohammed bin Zayed, MBZ, who's the leader of the UAE, is not Ali Khamenei. He believes in what we believe in, is stability and peace and tolerance and prosperity. So if the Middle East looked like the UAE and not like the Islamic Republic of Iran, you and I, the three of us, wouldn't even be doing a podcast on the Middle East because it would be a pretty peaceful, prosperous, stable, and boring place. And we wouldn't need to focus all this time and attention on it. So I really think that the fanaticism of the regime is something that we don't give enough attention to, and we as Americans don't think enough about. And we think we can seduce them by flooding them with cash, right?
Yeah.
Give them enough cash and they'll be comfortable in their villas.
I think I always say the reason the Twin Towers are down is because you think, as an American, look, you fly a commercial jetliner into a trade center, you're the pilot, you're going to be the first guy that hits the building. Who's going to do that? Like we do a lot of, I wouldn't do this, so why would you do that? It's a sort of, once in a while, I'll find someone who doesn't like barbecue, and I'll just go, what? And they're like, I don't care. What? No, you like barbecue. You haven't had the right barbecue. Like, I don't like barbecue. No, come on. I can't, pardon the pun, digest this information. And I think that's how humans think. And we sort of go, they want what we want. They just don't know how to go about it. And we'll show them how to go about it, and then we'll set up some democracy, and then they'll like it, and they'll prosper, and then they'll like that. Like, we don't really understand. It's like here in California, here in LA, like, we have a homeless problem. Well, we got to get them homes. Okay, that's not going to solve it. Oh, we just get some more money, get them some homes. No, these are junkies. They don't think like you're thinking. You think like you're thinking. Like, if I was outside, I'd want to be inside. If someone gave me a home, I would go to the home. Right. That doesn't work on them. We get into a lot of trouble, and it is right that they have a fanaticism that's wild in that, like, I could remember, I think it was like the first Gulf War or whatever we're getting into, and I could remember them going, well, we're going to start getting some tanks and some planes and stuff, and we're just going to go in and we're going to smoke you guys. And they're like, well, you do that, and you're going to feel the sting of Allah's sword on your neck. And it's like, all right, tell that to guy with the A-10 Warthog who's shooting spent uranium at your old tanks and lighting them up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, that guy's going to get Allah's sword too. Like, I don't think he is. I think he's got an A-10 Warthog with spent uranium shells and a Gatling gun that we invented. Yeah. And he's going to smoke your guys. All right, well, here comes Allah's sword. It's like, why would you do that if you didn't believe that? I'd be scared shitless of an A-10 Warthog with spent uranium shells and a Gatling gun if I was driving a tank from 1952. They
are scared, Adam, of that. So that, speaking of uranium and Allah's sword, their answer to that is to develop nuclear weapons. Right? So they know they can't take us on conventionally. They've been embarrassed by the Israelis, who both in October and in April of last year showed the Islamic Republic what the Israeli Air Force is capable of doing, and destroyed their defenses and significantly reduced their ballistic missile production capability. So they know they can't take us on in a conventional way, and so they're building nuclear weapons. And then you get into the argument of, well, they're building nuclear weapons, but I mean, Pakistan has nuclear weapons, India has nuclear weapons, certainly, North Korea has nuclear weapons. We can live with nuclear weapons. We lived with the Soviet Union. They had thousands of nuclear tip missiles aimed at our cities, and we were able to deter them. And so we can deter the Islamic Republic of Iran too, because they know that if they use those nuclear weapons against Israel or the United States, we would, eradicate their country. And so we can deter them. And there is that school of thought in Washington that we can deter the Islamic Republic. The problem is it misses what you're saying, and what we're talking about in this conversation is that extreme fanaticism where we celebrate life, right? They, meaning the Islamic Republic of Iran and this regime, celebrate death, right? That they believe there is something better. And in the secular West, we have a debate about whether there's something better in the afterlife. They believe there's something better, which is why the Islamic Republic has been willing to engage in terrorism and has been able to find young men and some young women willing to be suicide bombers. Like, we think about that as, that's insane. I mean, how could anyone be a suicide bomber? And you mentioned the Twin Towers and 9/11, right? How could anybody knowingly go to their death in order to murder other people? But they've had no problem recruiting suicide bombers around the world in order to advance this radical Islamist ideology. So would they be prepared to use nuclear weapons? Well, the former president of Iran, Rafsanjani, once said, and he was considered, quote, a moderate and a pragmatist, Israel's a one-bomb country. We should be prepared to lose millions of Muslims in order to eradicate the Jewish state. So I think that for the Israelis, there's no way they're going to take the chance of getting this one wrong.
Yeah, Mark, this has been interesting, and I hope, I'm happy that there's Israelis are going to do something that we might not be willing to do, but we'll all benefit from it. I'm going to give a website out. Is it fdd.org? Can people go there to find out more about you?
Yeah, that's it. And I'm at on X. I'm on at MDUBOWITZ, M Dubowitz, and I'm posting there quite regularly. So and thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you both.
I appreciate the chance to talk to you, Mark. Thanks for catching us up. And when something happens, I hope, or if something happens, or when something happens, I hope. I don't mean necessarily bad. I just mean something. Okay. We can go to Mark and get his expertise on the subject.
Learned a lot. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mark. All right. I'm going to be in Boca Raton coming up January 30th at the Black Box Theater, and then I'm going to be doing stand-up at Off the Hook, and that'll be in Naples, Florida, January 31st, and then February 1st. You go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows, because I'm coming everywhere. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Mark Dubowitz and Mayhem Miller saying mahalo.